Welcome to the Velvet Vibes podcast. We're ready to get to cooking with grease on the front burner. We have here Dr. Blue in the building. Go ahead and talk to him.
Peace, kings and queens. What's up? Blue in the building. We're only going to speak true facts. Truth that'll change your mind, because truth is the only thing that can transform.
Amen. The gospel has been spoken. Dr. Oddball is in the motherfucking building. Talk to him.
How y'all doing, man? I'm Oddball, songwriter, artist, things of that nature.
Indeed. And then we have the good old Dr. James Trotter. Speak to them, make them twerk, make them do what they must.
Hey, what's up, Velvet Vibe listeners? Good to see you all again, man. Glad to be back on the podcast. Y'all already know, rapper, comedian, jazz musician. Just happy to be here, man. I'm always a pleasure to be on the pod. So thanks for having me again, Velvet, man. I'm always back. Glad to be back.
Indeed. Anybody need any shout outs or have any poetry to deliver or anything of that nature that needs to go out into the world before we get too serious?
Man, I want to shout out the Velvet Vibes regulars. You know, I want to shout out Ant and Scorp and Myra Gomez and who are some of those other badass people who we just bullshit and talk to all day, man. Definitely helps the day go by. But yeah, everybody in the Velvet Vibe, man, shout out to all of them, man. It's always so fun being in that group talking and shit.
Indeed. Anybody else got some shout outs?
Shout out to everybody in the room, goddamn it. Shit, you know, that's it.
There you go. And Dr. Blue.
For real. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to everybody. You know, Velvet Vibes podcast, only thing keeping it real and keeping me through these hard times. I'm gonna shout out to Sonya for bringing me into Velvet Vibes, and of course my man Velvet holding it down. Always invite me to the most exquisite conversations to which we can show up and show out. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout out to everybody doing hard times through this COVID crisis, and everybody doing hard times in the penitentiary, and everybody that's just going through some trials and tribulations. Hopefully this will bring your mind a new place, a sense of peace. Let's go.
You said something there. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say this. First off, shout out to 500 Vodka, our sponsor. Shout out to From the Bottom podcast. Shout out to anybody that's listening. Shout out to anybody that's twerking. Shout out to anybody that's having intercourse while listening to the podcast. Shout out to anybody that rubs their woman's booty down with blue magic when they're listening to the podcast, because you always need hair grease on your left and right butt cheek. With that being said, we're going to get Did you, Trotter, did you have some gospel that you wanted to share with people before we go down the political wormhole?
Oh, sure. Because you had told me that you wanted me just to be here in my capacity as a comedian. So I was. You said you want me to be offensive. So I was trying to bust offensive shit. I didn't know we were going to be all politics. I was going to tell this story, man. Well, it's a poem that I wrote. I wrote this poem a while back. It's called "Would We Love." Would we love sunshine if it wasn't for rain? Would we know what was clean if we never got a stain? Would we even recognize pleasure if it wasn't for pain? Would I love my side chick so much if I didn't have my nagging ass mane? So yeah, that's a poem. That's a poem. The first time I did that, man, this club is no longer open in Houston, unfortunately. It was called the Sugar Hill Lounge. I don't know if the new place is still open. But the first time I did, my man Joe P, shout out to Joe P, actually. I don't know if he'll listen to this, but shout out to Joe P. And he was behind me. I heard he doubled over. And the men in the audience all just started going, like clapping. And the women looked so pissed off. Joe doesn't skip a beat. Goes and grabs the mic and goes, "Don't be mad at him just because you're somebody's nagging babe. Don't be mad at him. Don't be taking it out on him." So,
I got to give you some credit for setting that up as if it was going to be a lovely, sweet poem.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, you know, it is a lovely, sweet poem about my side chick, man.
Yeah, I caught that left turn that you took all of a sudden. But I was going to ask y'all this. And before we get into politics, we'll start to the very beginning of the shit. First off, do y'all believe in voting at all? Because you do know there's a big group of people that just don't even believe in voting. They believe it's all jive. It's a oddball. It looks like it's itching you already. Go talk to him.
No. I definitely. It's kind of like a two-part to it, because I believe, far as in your community, definitely voting matters. In your community, far as your the people that sit on the board in your council, the people that run in your state, that run the government, the people that's in that city. So I definitely believe that affects you directly. So yeah, definitely that the voting does matter. Far as presidential, I mean, there's many different theories about if you know what I mean. So at that point, I can only go where the Most High tell me to go. So far as state, you know, your city, yes, definitely, it definitely matters.
The facts. Dr. Trotter, what's your thoughts on this?
For sure. Well, yeah, I totally agree with Oddball in the sense that, like, once you get out to the local level, I used to work in politics, you know, and that it's once you get some of those local elections, like the voting turnout is so small that you can really totally change things, make really big changes if you were to just organize small groups of people. You know, your vote really counts. Once it gets to the national level, I have a bit of a different view on it than a lot of people, because I think that you really should vote who you want to vote for, even if it's somebody who's a third party candidate. Because, you know, at that point, you know, between the Electoral College and then the fact that there's so many millions of people voting, is that, you know, your vote isn't going to necessarily make a big difference in that sense, but I think it makes a big difference to you. And I think it's really important to say what you want to say with your vote, that you put out what you want to do, rather than people being like, oh, well, you're throwing your vote away if you don't vote for one of the two major candidates.
I was going to actually ask you that. Do you feel like people do that on purpose? Like, because, you know, just like now, people always say, well, you know, I feel like we're voting for the lesser of two evils and things like that. Do you feel like people just throw their vote over there, but like that, you know, I went over here, so.
Yeah, I do think that people, you know, there's that mentality, right? It would be like, oh, you're throwing your vote away. But you know, the fact that it's so many people and it's just a drop of the bucket, particularly if you live in a state. I know Michigan's a little back and forth, not quite like us. Down here in Texas, it's like shit. I mean, it's really just a symbolic statement. I mean, if you vote, I mean, whoever you vote for. So, you know, so that's definitely how I feel about it. Is to vote who you want to vote for, even if it's somebody who doesn't have a chance. Because I did that.
If y'all do me a favor, man, I just passed back in, man. Y'all let me know what's going on.
I was going to throw it to you. Basically, I was asking them if they believe in voting, because, you know, some people, you know, they just don't believe in voting anyway. They think it's all hoax or conspiracy, or it's jive turkeys.
Nah, truth. This to me? Can I answer that?
Yeah, go for it.
Nah, truth be told, man, I believe in voting to the highest degree, but only if you got class. Everything else is just a popular vote. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in the class that votes matter, then it really doesn't matter. You're just a popularity vote. You know what I'm saying? When Trump won election, he lost the popularity vote. Remember, Hillary Clinton won. More people voted for Hillary than Trump. But if you're not in the electoral college, in the electoral college, then it really doesn't matter. Which means it's the people who are people. The people that actually mean something, the people that made something of themselves, the people that created a class for themselves, a membership to say that, hey, your voice matters. And that's not given to any race or creed, but it's given to class. And only some people have been given that class of being that part who really matters. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, I believe in voting and due process, but not everybody really has a voting to which really actually goes on. You know what I mean?
So are you in a sense saying some votes get put under the blanket somewhere?
Nah. Yeah, for sure. Like, for instance, I can't vote. You know what I'm saying? Being a convicted felon, I can't vote. You know what I'm saying? But and even any regular normal person can't vote either. I mean, they can vote, but it really just becomes a popular vote. The only votes that truly matter when it comes to electing any official is the electoral college. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to presidential, but when you come into your city, community, and stuff like that, when you're voting people into as your judges, or into the courtrooms, or into your city council, then your community vote matters. Then your vote really matters. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, you want to put people in place that will have your best interest at heart to getting the people that can actually matter to change your nation. So it all starts with your community, then moves up to your nation. You know what I mean?
It's interesting because on my end, I was the guy that I described. I used to be. I was the guy that just was like, who matter? Who cares? It don't matter or whatever. It's all jive because I'm a conspiracy guy, and I always think, somebody's up to something, or which I'm sure I'm not wrong, but I will say I'm now. I see that as ignorance in the past. Now, I kind of see it as I'm not gonna say that I sway either way because right now I'm just now starting to pay attention. Of course, I knew it exists. I knew what's going on, but I never paid enough attention to be like, am I a Republican? Am I a Democrat? Do I give a fuck? So this is the lane that I'm in where I listen to people. Now I will say this. I do when people, just like it happens with Trump a lot, sometimes they'll take 30 seconds or whatever. And when you hear this stuff, and I ain't saying that I'm running around with the MAGA hat right now, but I am saying I have seen situations where once I see the full clip and I'm like, well, okay, he didn't say that.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. They be doing some hoe ass shit with that.
Just like one example was that Lysol. Like I remember that he didn't say put Lysol in your bloodstream. I remember he said it as a question. He was like, I was wondering if what if you put Lysol? It was a dumb question, but he never said put Lysol in your blood.
I don't know, man. Yeah,
he was talking about this ultraviolet. It's like a light treatment. You know what I mean? And they went and twisted that around, and the light treatment is actually a treatment to help your blood. You know what I mean? So they do shit like that. It's up to people. When I'm scrolling through my Facebook, bro, and it's like people just share shit. Like they don't even care. They just read.
Yeah.
They don't. And I'll jump in. I'll be like, bro, did you read this? Yeah. And he's like, because if you would have read this, you'd have scrolled down to the bottom where it says satire.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right.
All right, where it says 2016.
Man, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, but you know what? And I will say this too. One thing I've grown to notice with this situation, that when somebody is hated this much, you can't agree with a speck. Because like I said, I'm not rolling with Trump, but he has said small things that I was like, okay, all right, I see what he's saying. And just that little bit, somebody's in the back saying, oh, he's a MAGA. I'm like, well, I didn't say that.
So, question, because I'm pretty sure everybody want to know. What do y'all subscribe to? Do y'all see yourselves as political? Like, or do y'all subscribe to a certain political class, like Republican, Democrat, bipartisan, or do any of y'all subscribe?
I'm more me myself. I'm more libertarian, but as far as the party that I'm running with. For this year, because there's no libertarians that I really, they're not. There's really, I'm for Trump for real. That's what I'm running.
We're gonna get back to that too.
And then for me to answer that question is, I'm an independent. I used to be a Democrat. I was a Democrat for a long time in college. I was president of the college Democrats, and I worked for Democrats in Austin. But then I quit. I left in 2010. I'm an independent, but I mostly vote for liberal candidates. I've never voted for a Republican, or I've never voted for a conservative candidate. But yeah, I view myself as a left-leaning independent, but I don't subscribe to a party anymore.
Indeed, and on my end, like I said, just to reiterate, I've never really paid enough attention. Now I think right now I'm such a newbie that I wouldn't even want to put myself in any group because I'm just like, okay, this makes sense. Okay, what is he talking about? This makes sense. But what I will say, and whatever class you want to put this in, I am open to all ideas. Like just how I said, if Trump says, if I see a 30-second clip, I'll watch the whole thing so I can get a full idea of what was said. Do I understand? If Biden says something, I don't just watch 20 seconds and make my opinion. I'm like, okay, I want to see what was said so I can have an understanding. Even people that's not technically in, politics like that. Like I've seen stuff about Candace Owens and I'm like, let me just sit and watch this and see is it as much.
So what is your view on Candace Owens?
I will say
Because sometimes she say some dumbass shit.
Yeah. I was finna say that. I think a lot of stuff is dumbass shit, but I think a lot of times she be having a point that we don't want to accept or speak on. Like I saw. Have you watched her podcast or her little, like her show? Or
I have not watched her podcast. I've kind of scrolled past it, but I mean, like far as like what you said, like far as there's a lot of things that actually make sense, but since some of us have been so conditioned to have a victim mindset or to throw that on the rug and go with the traditional way of thinking, like far as voting Democrat, like that is some traditional ass thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I live in a Democratic state. I don't know how many of you guys live in a Democratic state, but I live in a Democratic state, and their policies and things that they run off of is such bullshit. They don't have anything. There's no help for the African American community at all whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially Big Gretch dumbass. This bitch retarded. You know what I'm saying? Like. And she did all of it to try to get next to Biden, and then Biden ain't even picked the bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, but go ahead, finish what you were saying about Candace Owens. I'm sorry.
No, I was just basically saying that I have seen and heard a lot of dumbass shit, like you said, but I have seen times and heard times that I'm like, well, she do got a point. I think what it really is with her, I think one, it be timing that when she says things. And sometimes it just is off, but sometimes it be timing, just like George Floyd, when he passed, I think it was the next day when she opened her mouth and talking about he was a criminal and whatever else, and true or false or whatever. And I don't know if she probably had, some data.
Everybody,
it just was like
criminal.
Yeah, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Everyone's a criminal. Everyone has a criminal background.
And that's
Can I?
I'm sorry. I want to say real quick on the Candace Owens thing is, I don't really be following her stuff like that. Just whenever she makes headlines, I'll watch it or read it. I think that one thing about her, she really's got to acknowledge the hypocrisy, right? Because when I first heard about her, she had this whole big thing about how celebrities just needed to shut the fuck up, that nobody cares what celebrities think. And then Kanye comes out in support of Trump, and then she's like, Kanye is so brave. He is unbelievably brave. Like, whoa, I'm not letting nobody care what celebrities sound. Hey, pick a side, be consistent. And that's the same thing is that I know people, I never met George Floyd, but I know people who knew him out here. And what they say about him is that, about Big Floyd, people who knew him say that he was a good dude who got caught up in some bad shit when he was younger. And that's why he moved to Minnesota, because he was trying to change his life and do better. And that's my thing about people like Donald Trump and Democrats too, is it's like when Donald Trump's really the big one, is like all the times he's fucked up in his life, all the kinds of times he's caused people pain. When has he ever said, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do better? He doesn't do that. He's like, he does more bad shit. So it's like with at least George Floyd, at least like I said, the people who knew Big Floyd, they all say that he was trying his best to do better.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Can I chime in one time?
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not finna subscribe to any of the bullshit. Ain't no political power for the man of color. Until we elect a person that's from the people, there will be nobody for the people. I'm gonna tell you like that. Until you start bringing and I'm gonna tell you like this is the one blessing of COVID. The haves and the have-nots are coming a lot more closer. And only the have-nots that survive will become that much closer to the haves. And the political statute that they're living on will come that much closer to our views. People that have not struggled and people that have never struggled in life and the people that have struggled are coming that much more closer to having some type of empathy or sympathy for each other and to where they can see each other's lives in a one-on-one. But until then, until you elect people from the people, they will never have the best people on the heart until the man of color, and I'm not talking about the black, I'm talking about the black, green, yellow, red, I don't care what you subscribe to. Until you elect somebody that is from the people, that class will always be overruling. If you Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, bipartisan, I don't care what you are. Unless you came from the people, you will never be able to subscribe. You understand this? Understand this, that the people who have no vote
We about to vote for you.
Have no vote can never speak on what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like damn, we want somebody. We gotta just pick the lesser of the evil at the end of the day, right? Yeah. Like ultimately, we just gotta be like, hey, who's a little bit more lenient towards what my views or values or morals or what can help my children maybe in the near future. You know, and we just gotta try to pray, hope, and wish until the people rise up and stand up and say, look, nigga, we ain't trying to hear none of that shit. We need to create a full overhaul of what's going on. I ain't talking about any individual person. Fuck Candace Owens, fuck Donald Trump, fuck any of these niggas that is running right now because everybody's just trying to sing to the church's choir or trying to preach or trying to tell us something that we want to hear. Other than that, brother, if I don't see no change, hey, check me out. What can you give me? And I want to know. I want somebody to sit up there on that throne and tell me, look, if I can't deliver you this in the first 6 months, in my first year, or in my first 2 years, hey, y'all go ahead and kick me out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead. I promise you, I will give you this in the first year, in the first 6 months, in the first year. And if not, I will renounce my throne as y'all's president. Until we get that, man, can't nobody be held accountable. It's just all speaking. It's all gonna be talk.
Talk to us, Eyeball.
So when we say lesser evils, I feel like it doesn't matter who is in that seat. You're always picking at the lesser evils because all men fall short. All men fall short of God, and everyone has some type of something to them that you not gonna like. Like when we say somebody for the people, now that came from the people. Now the nigga may have not been motherfucking down bad, but the nigga definitely from the people because he's never was a politician. You know what I'm saying? We talking about Trump. We got somebody that's
I know it throws you off when you hear Trump called a nigga.
Hold on. Hey, I call everybody a nigga. That's so. But
I knew what you were saying.
Because James, that nigga too.
It's all good.
But no, I feel like, you know what I mean. Like just giving a bird's eye view. Like we talking about what someone has done the first 2 years of being in office. There's a lot of shit that man did, a lot of shit, and people decide that they want to go over it or they want to go with the narrative of what the media is giving you, and that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Hey, Alba, let me ask you, what would you say are his top 5? What would you say are his top 5 accomplishments?
The black unemployment rate. Let's go with that. Let's go with the act where he signed to clean up the oceans. You know what I'm saying? Let's go with
he rolled back Obama protections on clean water. I have my phone here for that specific reason. Yeah, man, he rolled back like emissions stuff and like stuff that dealing with clean oceans. Let's see here. Yeah, no, man, he's definitely pulled back a lot of environmental regulations. He allows trophy hunting to be back in America now because before, you know, if you were to go to Africa and kill an elephant, you couldn't bring it back.
I'm hip on the trophy hunt thing.
You know that? Yeah. That stuff. Yeah. Okay.
I'm hip on that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, in Alaska, you can shoot a bear while it's hibernating. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that it's just like, come on, man, this man's not an environmentalist. But here, I'm gonna look at that clean ocean.
That's shit they've been doing anyway.
Well, it's just
supposed to be illegal. Doing that shit.
But check me out.
Go ahead.
If I may chime in, the black unemployment rating is not necessarily achievement by way of his own mind. The black unemployment rating that rose is because of things that he offered. I mean, it was a given. Like when you took the jobs, put them back in Americans' hands, more people had to be employed anyway from America.
So that's not an accomplishment.
It isn't, but I don't believe it's from his own mind. Ultimately, there's things. Let me speak. Ultimately, Trump has said things and done things that let me know that he's not of the intellect to say, hey, this is my decision. Mind you, the president of his own is not operating on his own accord.
Understood.
There's a balance of powers. There's a balance of powers that says, hey, man, it's better for you to do this. And we can do this. What you might want to do, we can do this. What you want to do, now we can't do that right now. That ain't good for your future, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Like ultimately,
I know this. I know this.
That's why I can't stand on any one individual achievement. I'm not even gonna talk about presidential achievement. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, nigga, all that shit got wiped away when COVID hit. Because but whether it's black unemployment rate or unemployment rate period, nigga, everybody's unemployed and they soaking up some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like they fucked up his presidency with this shit.
Whoa.
We can say that. Yeah, man.
They fucked up his shit. Straight up.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So real quick side note, article, Trump administration cuts back federal protections for streams and wetlands. The Environmental Protection Agency is dramatically reducing the amount of waterways that get federal protection under the Clean Water Act, a move that is welcomed by many farmers, builders, and mining companies, but is opposed by even the agency's own science advisors. So he's been pulling back protections for the waters. He's been pulling it back for the oceans and how much companies are allowed to pollute. What I'll say really quick about the COVID thing, I just want to ask Abba a quick question. Abba, what do you feel like we should have done with COVID? Do you think that we should have shut everything down, or do you think that we should have just allowed it to go on and then whoever made it, or and then whoever died? Like, what do you think about that? Because
hold on. Before you get to that, I want him to finish his, because you asked him about the five things Trump did.
The five things.
He only got to two. I want to hear them other three, and we're gonna get back to that.
Gotcha.
One of them I was gonna say he brought the economy up. He brought more jobs before the COVID thing hit, and then he signed the act far as the for the sex trafficking. He put a task force together to apprehend sex traffickers and made January Sex Trafficking Awareness Month.
Okay, I'm going to double check it on that one too. I don't think he's been doing too much with sex trafficking.
Go ahead.
Time out. Hold on. Let me say that was going to happen anyways. Hey, before Trump was even elected in office, this guy right here, right, was being convicted felon for human trafficking and prostitution. I'm sorry. Hey, let me be real with y'all. You know what I'm saying? In 2011, there was more human trafficking and prostitution in the nation than anybody else. Ultimately, it was a problem for the people. When Obama's administration was in there, human trafficking and prostitution was a problem in America. It was going to happen, and people had to hear from this. That wasn't Trump's doing. That was his people behind him saying, look, you got to tackle this, or they will hang you for it. They will hang you for it.
So now we throwing him under the bus because he got a good team behind him.
Nah, I didn't say that, brother. I didn't say that.
That's basically what it sounds like.
No. What I'm saying is, ultimately, bro, a lot of people put a lot on Trump, and I'm not against Trump, and I'm not for Trump. I could give a fuck about the individual person in there. I'm talking about the person I'm talking about the nation as a whole. We're not gonna subjugate what happened to one in particular person. We're gonna talk about what happened to millions of people in America. It had to happen. It was such a movement. Just like when the task force on drugs happened in the 90s. Just when the war on drugs happened, drugs was a real problem to where you couldn't stray away from it without saying something. And it was
Dr. Blue, I gotta ask you a question. I gotta ask you this. Now, and I'm neutral too, but don't you think this is the case for all presidents? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, bro. Like, ultimately, when I'm not gonna put what happened to just one in particular person. What has he thought? What do you think Trump has thought from his in particular individual, from what you know of him from history as an individual, morals and values, what you see as his character, as his personage, what you can see of him, not what media gives you, but what you have read in his dossiers, in his books, Do you believe that he did that on his own accord?
I definitely think he got a group that he put they all got together and was like, this is what we should do, this is what we shouldn't do. Of course. Okay. Of course. Okay. And don't get this twisted. I'm not a person. I go do my own research. I don't fuck with the media, because if I did, I wouldn't even like the nigga. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll throw out that whenever I Googled it, is that it came that Trump's that the Trump presidency gave $35 million to organizations to provide safe housing for victims of sex trafficking. And I think that the one thing that's kind of a misleading narrative on that, I think, is that people saying that not like that all presidents haven't been concerned about it, you know. And so I don't know. I feel like it is such a huge problem that it would be amazing to see a president, you know, Trump or anybody who really, really, you know, took a real lead on it, you know. And I mean, what I wish that whenever he was asked about it, whenever he was asked about Epstein and I don't know how to pronounce Epstein's girl's name, that I wish he would say some of that. Hey, we're going to hunt down all these sex traffickers. If they were involved, whoever's involved, we're going to find out. We don't care who they are. We're going to find them. And it really, Republicans and Democrats, it really bothers me that they politicize sex trafficking. And then, you know, people are like, oh, well, Trump did it. You know, Trump was friends with Epstein. Clinton was friends with Epstein, you know. And it's like, listen, either one of them, let's investigate it. We've seen so many pictures of them with these people, both of them. Let's see who did what. And, you know, because to me, it's like, all right, you have your politics, that's fine. But people raping children is unbelievably terrible.
Exactly.
And we really have got to stop it. And that's the thing I hate about this conversation. This is what I don't like about the because if we having that conversation, then we could say that Trump actually took a step to make that happen. You know what I mean? And then let's talk about the last 4 or 5 months of how many sex trafficking organizations have been busted. Just yesterday, they done found 20 children that's ranged from 3 to 14 in Michigan. They found them, and they was from fucking all the way on the other side of the United States. They done found a bundle of kids in Georgia. Where was the other 39, one? Ohio. And so the thing is that the Democratic Party, far as Biden, that little administration, that they're not even, they don't care. They're not worried about COVID. They're not worried about sex trafficking. The only thing they care about is getting this motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? And they don't.
But in also in all nature of duality, bro, there's just as much Republicans as like, what the fuck? Like, let's keep them in. I mean, this is politics, though. Like,
there's some Republicans that don't. There's some Republicans that don't want them in there just because they are part of the deep state themselves. You know what I'm saying? And people might want to call me a conspiracy theorist, but if you can go to jail for conspiracy, I believe it's pretty fucking real.
Nah, it's for real. But conspiracy is not always. Conspiracy is just it's either true or it's not. You know what I'm saying? But it's on the lines of true more than it's not. You know what I mean? It just might not be all the way 100% true. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, all I'm saying is, look, every one of these individuals. Look, once again, mind you, I'm not politically active in a point of in particular person. I'm politically active, and when it comes to in particular people. Of course, these task force have been brought upon before Trump was even made. Before Trump was the president, these task forces have already been out there. They just finally been unleashed. Why? For political gain. For political gain. There's things that only benefit the evolution of what we can give the media or what we can give the people, and there's money being thrown around, whatever. I'm not taking away from the circumstantial good, though. The good, I'm happy for the people that have been saved. I'm happy. But this has been a real, I mean, come on, bro. Once again, let me tell you like this. How many of y'all, right? James, Arbor, Velvet, growing up, how many did y'all know that pimping was real?
I did.
I mean, you see it in parts of Houston. You know, I've never. This
city is one of the highest cities for sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Our children protective services is under investigation for selling kids. You know what I mean? I was a foster kid. I could have got wrapped in that shit. You know what I'm saying? So this city is definitely known for pimping, pandering, sex trafficking. Well, the state itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Houston's well known for that.
So why? Especially Houston.
I came up around
especially it. Houston.
I came up outside of Memphis. In Mississippi.
And you know how Memphis is. Memphis, Houston. Where you from, Arbor?
Michigan.
He's from Detroit.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit. Oh, damn. All right. Peace. Yeah. And it's a Houston, right? Memphis, Michigan. You look pretty like that, but in Houston for sure. Shit on that crime ring that's been around since before the ages. Why the hell? Why the hell is this not just being brought upon?
I almost lost you, man.
Tell me. how these comedians explain to me why they real. If you knew it as a child, I knew it as a child, brother. I was walking on the streets, bro. I seen this stuff as clear as daylight.
Hold on, you seen this? What sex trafficking? I hope not, but yeah, I think we might have lost him. He might pop back in.
Sure.
But yeah, go for it.
Sure. And so that's all. I mean, all I was going to say about it is, obviously, that's the thing that bothers me the most about this is that people. It seems like, because what I do agree with you on, Ball, is that you don't hear politicians saying, "Hey, we got to take this real serious. We got to stop it. It's happening on our, in our country, and it's terrible, and we got to find a way to stop it." You don't hear that, from Trump. You don't hear it from Biden, like you said, and that's the thing that really bothers me is that people make it so political whenever that should, just like stopping COVID, needs to be something that we're all united on, and that's really one of the big reasons why I'm definitely.
Well, so are we all aware that once Trump pulled the funding from the World Health Organization and said we're going to stop taking the testing from the CDC and we're going to test ourselves as the U.S., are we aware that after he did that, they released their numbers and it was all lies? They released their numbers saying, oh, okay, well, actually the mortality rate is less than 6%. So basically, the only people that die from this shit are old people and really, really young babies. But anyone up...
And that's not true, bro. But it's not true, but I'll give you something that's going to help you. Is that it's not young babies. Young babies don't get it. So that's the debate, right? And that's what's happening is that it is people. It's mostly been people with a pre-existing condition or really old people, like you said. Exactly. And like I said, the rate of people has been under 10,000 who died purely from COVID. Now, so that's the question, right? Is if you are already sick, but maybe you'll recover, maybe you'll keep living. I mean, if you're an old person, a grandmother, maybe you'll have 10 more years of your grandkids. Should we be trying to stop this disease that could give you those 10 more years?
So, because I have a 1-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, and I have a 6-year-old.
Okay.
My whole house caught COVID.
Okay.
We were good within 2 days.
Gotcha. Did you experience any symptoms or anything?
Yeah, for sure. We had cold sweats, chills.
How about what's your blood type, brother?
Say that again.
What's your blood type?
I believe I'm O. I can't really be for certain. Yeah, I heard it matters, but that
yeah, they say O is the best for it. That's what my father has.
Indeed. So let me ask y'all this, and we'll flip it. And no, first off, I want Oddball to finish because each topic brings another topic. So you have 4.
yes.
You have 4.
So what I was what I was saying is that even you've seen it. Even you've seen how much they doctor what this man say and things of that nature. And everybody wants you to follow the media narrative and follow this narrative of people hating this guy. You know what I mean? And and anybody that tries to say, oh man, we gonna say we gotta be the coons. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like
we gotta stop that too. But
I actually studied my shit. I actually go. I look at the politics. I look at the policies. I look at the trade tariffs. I go understand that shit because I'm an educated dude. But I'm only gonna be educated so long because if you come over here calling me a coon, I'm gonna blow your ass. That's for straight up. And I don't like that shit because ain't no man gonna call me no coon in front of my motherfucking kids. You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers got this online shit give motherfuckers so much voice, but they not really out here. They're not really out here trying to educate other people or you know what I mean? Talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta respect everybody as people and as men and women. So just because I don't agree with something that you stand for, don't make you not my friend. That don't make you an enemy. You know what I mean? That's just how you live. That's everybody's not gonna live the same. You know what I mean? And that's But that's
you know what? That's what pissed me off about that term one, because a lot of times when it come up, that's when it come up. You just like in this case, you may say you voting for Trump, and if somebody disagree, we could just disagree. But a lot of times somebody say, "Hey, I'm doing this," and then the other guy says, "Oh, you're a coon or Uncle Tom." We gotta cut this shit out. Like, just chalk it up as a we don't agree.
They're using the term Uncle Tom so wrong because Uncle Tom back in the day was the one that protected the slaves, the women and the children.
I read up on that. Indeed.
You know, so it's like you got not only are you stupid, but you know, whatever.
Well, it's just like they said.
Well,
about
you know,
like they said about the Meg the Stallion.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, a stallion is a male horse, but sometimes we just run with terminology and just enjoy it. But
just enjoy it, yeah.
But you was at 4.
Technicality.
You was at 4. The top things that Trump did that got you rolling with him.
Oh, already. I said my 5th one. It was the whole putting the sex, the sex trafficking and things of that nature. I did pop out 5 of them motherfuckers, but that's something that I paid attention to. You know what I mean? I felt like those were good steps. You know what I mean? People think like these presidents are gonna. Well, some presidents we gave 8 years and they ain't do shit. But some people think, you know, we give, you know, and Obama's one of them. But some people we think they just gonna get in this presidency. See, okay, so this is why I say that. Okay, so Biden says the first 30 days he's gonna change race relations and all this shit. And then, but he's been in Congress for 30 years, so you ain't never think about it then. You know what I'm saying? So
just hit him all of a sudden.
Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm 80 years old, I got dementia, and now I want to help y'all because I forgot I was racist. Like, nah, man, the fuck out of here, dude.
So,
you know what I mean?
Is Biden doing anything thus far that interests you? And no. this question for everybody.
Besides heating up, besides getting black people riled up, that's all these people on that other side have done is get black people riled up. Oh, if you go back on news clips, bro, I done watched it. They talking about they should be rioting. They should be punching these people in the face. They should be throwing this. It's crazy, bro. Do anybody have history on what happened in Venezuela?
No.
Yeah, I know about Venezuela.
This is a play-by-play book of a socialist / communist little thing that they doing, bro. This the exact same shit that happened play by Venezuela. Now they can't even find a fucking morsel of corn to eat.
Oh shit!
And I disagree with that, by the way. I know people say that, but I totally disagree about people calling this a communist takeover or anything of that nature. I didn't want to answer.
I'm not calling it. I didn't call it a takeover. I said it's a play. The same plays that they did in Venezuela is the same shit that they're doing right now. Create so civil unrest. Right.
Well, civil unrest. I mean, it's.
Damn near. Damn near.
Wait. Hey. But check me out, James. Check me out, James. But bro, what do you propose when it comes to civil unrest?
I propose people not understand things with a golf ball size comprehension. I feel like we should first off get at the media for when certain shit happen. They make sure the title fits the narrative of where they're trying to take this. You know what I mean? And one thing about it is that through this whole ordeal, they've been sparking up black folks. And then not only that, we got on this side this little small group of people that's not even for it. And these are the liberals, which are not for that. They're not good for America, period. They're not good for the blacks. They're not good for the whites. They're not good
liberals
for
aren't good for America?
No.
Well, liberals.
No.
Okay. Why are liberals not for America?
And when I make that statement, I go off what Malcolm X said, and then I went and studied what he was talking about, because they have their own agenda to where they're trying to fit in their own agenda, and it's really just them. And no, you have very few black liberals, bro. Most of them are Caucasian, and they're racist as fuck.
That's not true.
Shit.
Man, most black people are liberals. Most black people are liberals, man.
Most people actually,
how do you define a liberal?
Actually, most people are libertarians, and these are people that care about their rights. They care about their rights. They care about their freedom of speech. They care about the amendment. They care about the Constitution. That's a libertarian.
How do you define a liberal? How do you define a liberal?
From what I see in this motherfucker here, so it may be different from where y'all.
Oh,
Did we lose?
No,
we losing both?
We lost Oddball. Yeah, it looked like we lost both of them. We need Oddball.
We do need Oddball back for sure. Yeah. Well, I feel bad. Like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, I have so much I want to say in response to what he said. But there you are. You're back. Cool.
Pardon self. I apologize. My cord.
No, go. No, you're good. Okay. So how do you define liberal, bro?
I just told you. I just told you.
So you don't. So you feel. And so you don't feel. So you do you. So
I don't. I don't feel like liberals are for. They're not for the black people. They're not for the.
What do you feel that they're for?
That want to integrate with black people, or I don't feel like they don't want us mingling. Liberals are for themselves. They're for that group of people, and that's just Caucasian, man. So
I totally got to object because I do identify with that term. And all I want to say really quick is that, you know, the textbook definition of a liberal is somebody who, you know, if you want to get, I study political science, so we believe that at our core that humans are naturally good with bad tendencies, right? And then in the other school of political science, they believe that humans are evil with good tendencies. And I believe that humans are at our very nature good. You know, I think we have bad tendencies, but I think that our nature we're good. Oh, is he gone again? Shit.
He's gone, but you keep it going.
For the other people out there, all I'll say really quick is that the way that liberals, all right.
Parcel, can you start again? I'm sorry.
No problem.
Parcel.
Right. So in political theory, liberals believe that humans are naturally good with evil tendencies. And then the conservative side, which I call realist for whatever reason, is they believe that humans are naturally bad with good tendencies. Now, in our country, is that liberals believe that we need to have government checks on the government, on businesses, on religion, because we say, listen, we've seen the president be extremely corrupt. We've seen police officers be really corrupt. We've seen businesses be really corrupt. So we've got to be checking them because they're so.
I feel like you're a different kind of liberal, and you should probably be a libertarian then.
Because no, man, I'm not, because I think that our government has to be looking at businesses all the time. Businesses because
I agree with that stance, but it's the way the liberals that I've come across and their views on shit, it doesn't fit the narrative of what you're saying. And wait, this has been since the 50s and the 40s, and this is going off, like even Malcolm X said it in his speech, the liberal is just not for the people.
Well, I consider liberal by definition before the people.
Do anybody remember that speech? Does anybody remember that speech?
I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with it, and the only thing I'll say about it is that, you know, that I think that liberals are the ones who are more likely to let just everyday people say, hey, you know, you're probably just living your life, doing your thing, and that's fine. And it's the Republicans and the conservatives are the ones that are saying, no, we got to be checking up on these people. We got to see what they're doing. And that's where I really disagree with it. You know, that's why I'm not a big fan of it. You know, George Bush.
Can I say this?
Go ahead, brother.
Can I say this? As one that's a firm founder and survivor behind Malcolm X's words, I totally agree, right? But not to stray away, brother. Ultimately, how this conversation got started off was why who is really for the people, and in particular, you said that they have us, people of color, right? They're leading us in the direction that we don't want to go. They just want to rile us up.
I was definitely talking about the Biden administration, but go ahead.
Okay.
because
has given people of color the tools that they need to understand themselves to where they can make the right decision, where they can't be riled up.
I feel like Trump trying. He definitely trying. He definitely put an effort for it. He definitely put an effort for it. He's not trying
Trump
to.
been pro Black history education? Where has Trump been pro getting people the knowledge and wherewithal to understand what's right from wrong, instead of attacking media, instead of attacking people, instead of attacking individuals? What have you been doing of substantial credence? What have you been put that is tangible, that we can say, hey, you've done that to help us understand ourselves, to where we can't be riled up by the Democrats?
I'm gonna answer your question.
Sounds like we're riled up.
I'm gonna answer your question. So the media, if you attack me, I'm gonna attack you. That's law. You know what I'm saying? That's law of attraction. You attack me, I'm attacking you. So that's why he attacks the media. But for two, it's not his job.
We're talking about the media, brother.
Okay.
We're not talking about. We're talking about an entity.
You asked me a question.
I'm attacking to a Christian because of their beliefs or a founding of its imagination. Like, if you can't unravel imagination, what proof are you holding?
Indeed.
Like, I don't have to attack the media. I just have to make shit happen.
Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
So, and then your other question was,
no, for sure.
What has he done to teach us, or the history and things of that nature? And I'm rebutting what you asked me. That's not his fucking job. His job ain't to teach you shit. His job is to run the country. But your parents' job is to teach you some shit. And if they can't teach you, then you go learn on your own. That's the answer to that question. That nigga's not my daddy.
Wow.
He ain't supposed to teach me shit. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's real.
You're your own man. You're your own man. I mean, at the end of the day, why do we keep?
Who is leading?
Why do we keep?
What do we need a leader for?
Why do we keep looking for people?
What do we need somebody to lead a country if everybody's their own man?
Hey, that's law. Because without government, without law to govern all, then we'll just have a wild, wild west, now wouldn't we?
How united are we in these states?
So our presidency is only giving the acquisition of position for law by your law.
Everything has law. Even the universe has law. So whoever is picked to
there's universal law, man's law.
Whoever's chosen to govern law, that's what it is. I mean, you can't ask me no shit that you don't know. I'm not about to. I don't know everything and don't claim to know everything. All I know is what I know. And when I go try to figure out some shit, you know what I mean?
All I'm asking is because you said, like, he ain't nobody's daddy. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day.
But we're talking about the future of a nation, right? Well, first, we're talking about the future of a nation. So at the future of a nation is governed by, our future is ran by millennials. Am I right or wrong? The leadership that he's leading right now is to govern millennials and thus forward, right? So that means your children are going to be a part of whatever presidency or whatever law he lays down to the state, right? Right?
Guess who go?
You're giving, you're giving for education, whatever presidency came before you has opened you up to a certain education standard, has opened you up to a certain intellect standard, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be social media, whether it be media, whether it be any type of form of knowledge, wisdom, of understanding, his ultimate goal is to open up as many avenues for people to elect who they need or who don't. Because ultimately, if people aren't conscious of him, then how do we know he's right? So if we don't give them the tools, skills, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, or the opportunities to get to a certain place to say, hey, we can stand on our own as fathers, mothers, or men of individuality, or women of individuality, or men of color, or men of not color, or gay, straight, whatever the fuck you think you are. If you don't have the opportunity to understand what that is, then how could you ever elect or believe in something that I'm telling you?
Okay, so you throw me a question right now, Blue. So let's do this. With the way of thinking that Oddball is presenting to us, and of course he ain't the only one that thinks this way. And I will say this is, I'm not gonna say it's the first time that you see Black people thinking like this, but I would say it's the most that you've ever seen it before. When you see these, us question things, or us say, hey, I'm gonna do some research, or I'm gonna read, or you know what, I actually feel this way. So what is it? And anybody can answer, and Trotter, you're welcome on this one too. What is it, do you think, that is enticing us, or making us say, maybe I'm a Republican, maybe making us not just say daddy said be a Democrat, so I'm a Democrat, mom said be a Democrat. What's leading us down that path?
Well, my foster parent was a teacher, and so the 2 years that I spent there, as a 10-year-old on up till I was about 12, it opened me up to new ways of thinking. So at this point, and just to answer, sorry to get off, but just to answer his question, just real quick, before my kids even get into that realm of trying to figure out what this man is talking about, I'm that first barrier to teach the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So what I felt like opened me up for real, man, is just that it was too many. It's too many different things that are trying to pull you this way and pull you that way, or too many times I've caught the lie, and then I decided to say, you know what, let me go do some studying. Me, I grew up, as far as in school, I was really a history major. I was into history, you know what I mean? And when I've seen that what the Republican Party stood for, and back in the day, of course, they were the original abolitionists, you know what I mean? And it was started by African Americans. And then they pulled the white farmers in. And so when the Democrats saw that, because the Democrats was actually the motherfuckers that's trying to keep you down, that's when they started getting the media involved and kind of deterring white folks from actually bonding with Black folks, which was the Republican Party. And so when I seen that, I'm like, dog, you know what I mean? Like, this guy, everybody hate this nigga, you know what I mean? And I'm like, so why the fuck, because usually when everybody just hates somebody, there's something that it's gotta be an agenda behind it. You know what I mean? Do you hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's got to be an agenda. And for one, with the whole agenda is that this nigga ain't got no special interest.
That underdog kind of draws you in.
Huh? Yeah. You know what I mean? And and then he wasn't politically correct. I'd rather somebody get up there and say what the fuck they want to say than a motherfucker that, you know what I mean, that you just about to get up there and try to sugarcoat some shit, because that's basically what you call it, politics. Most politics got a lot to do with psychology, and motherfuckers sit there and say something to you and you wouldn't even know what the fuck that motherfucker just said, but honestly that nigga just said some hoe shit. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? Like, I just like the fact that he's straightforward. And my way of thinking is just that I've lived on both sides of the fence. I've been through a lot in life, bro, and I done seen. I know that there's good people and there's evil people, bro, and there ain't no way past that. So to me, I just rather have an open mind and shit, man. I ain't about to just because you look like me don't mean, you know what I mean? Like,
we think the same.
You know what I mean? Like,
how is the perception of you amongst, because I'm sure this ain't the only and first time that you've been in this conversation or conversations of this nature.
I've been in this conversation quite a few, you know what I mean? And some is, I got, like, because I know a lot of history, bro, and some of that shit it throws people off, you know what I mean? Like, they can't believe it and be like, hold on, so the Moors, and then like, hold on, man, you can't be just saying it. And
without laggy internet, this conversation can get even more spicy.
You know, and so I don't, you know, I'm an active vice lord, you know what I mean? So they got a saying that just because you self don't make you my brother, and just because you my brother don't make you self. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's something that I can apply to in life. You know what I mean? Like, just because you look like me don't mean we brothers, because motherfuckers can have a whole different mindset. You know what I mean? Like, far as like, it's a lot of people out there spitting hate. You know what I mean? And to me, like, there's no difference between, and I'm gonna say this, and you know, brother Blue might get on my ass, but I'm gonna say this: there's no difference between a black supremacist and a white supremacist, bro. You know what I mean?
I agree totally.
And that's how I feel.
Oh man, I disagree. The white guy disagrees. Totally disagree, man.
Talk about it, Jimmy.
Let me say. Go ahead, John.
Oh, what I was gonna say on that, man, is I think that white supremacy, obviously, because it's, you know, exists within a power structure, and because I had actually wanted to ask Abba this question is, what do you think about the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and then the shooting of Jacob Blake? What do you think on that? Do you think the police were following protocol, or do you think that they were out of line? Do you think that they?
I think the Breonna Taylor was definitely out of line.
Okay.
George Floyd, even though the nigga was on fentanyl, and that shit will fuck up your breathing, he still shouldn't have been on that nigga back, because he couldn't breathe before that. You know what I mean? But he still shouldn't have been on his back. From a nigga that used to sell fentanyl, that shit will take your breath, dog, for real. Let's talk like this James Blake.
Jacob Blake, yeah, because he was
Jacob. I thought it was James. Jacob.
No, it's Jacob.
Jacob Blake. I feel like, and I just need you to listen to me on this.
I'm listening.
I need you to listen to me, bro, because what I'm gonna say, it goes against the narrative that they trying to put out there, and I don't feel like nobody should die by gunfire. You know what I mean? Unless you have to. If you run up on my shit thinking I'm lacking, then you deserve to die. But the fact of the matter is that from what I seen, when you asked to stop, my brother, and I'm purely going off the tension between civilians and police officers right now. That man shouldn't have had to grab you by your shirt, because to me, I'm like, well, what the fuck you jumping in the car for? A birthday card? No, my nigga, like, stop. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel like he didn't value his own life or his kids' life by just jumping in that whip with them kids, bro. I don't care what nobody say. You wouldn't have, excuse me, you wouldn't have did it, and none of y'all niggas would have did it, because you got common sense. You got common sense. That officer asked you to stop. Now, should he been shot? No, but the tensions in America right now, dog. Why would you bring that problems to yourself, to the community, or to your children?
This was the guy that was breaking up the fight.
Yes, no. Yeah.
But the report said, and these are witnesses. These are reports from the witnesses. If you go look it up, that he was already wielding a knife in the gas station, and then when he got to where the women was, one of those women is the one that called the police. That was the lady that that he had a sexual assault on.
Well, you know what? I gotta say on this one, George Floyd, that shouldn't have happened. Breonna Taylor, that shouldn't have happened.
That shouldn't have happened.
This. And it I'm not gonna say it should have happened, but I will say if somebody got a gun, I'm not gonna, you know, if it's not the officer, if y'all got a gun on me, I'm not gonna, just a moment, please.
Remember watching the video, he was pulling dude. He was trying to get him to stop, dude, pulling away.
Yeah.
Like, bro, come on, bro. You brought that on yourself, bro. You and you traumatized your kid.
Hey, but check me out. Mind you though, you gotta have to understand that the police officer are in a position of power and authority. One thing, you have an authority to wield a weapon. I'm sorry, ain't no knife finna beat a gun in any type of fight.
I feel you, but you just went all the way up.
Got to the car. Now, listen what I'm trying to tell you. Ultimately, before he got to the car.
I'm just saying, you trying to justify his ignorance. You trying to justify his ignorance.
No. I'm trying to tell you what is ignorant and what is not. Two ignorances is ignorance. Both of the officers and the person are ignorant. I'm not for either one. They did what was best in their interest, You know what I'm saying? What they thought was in their best interest, and he did whatever the fuck he thought what was going on, what was right for him.
I'm gonna ask y'all. I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this. Hold on, just a second.
You know he was? Did you know he was tased and it didn't work on him?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me ask y'all this. What is a better way that it could have been done, and not if he wouldn't have went to the car in the same scenario? What is a better way it could have been handled without shooting him? Because if he went to the car and you seen him go to the car, what should the officer have done?
Well, he did the first thing. He went for the less lethal approach, and he tased him. And then when that didn't work, he grabbed him by the shirt, and he was basically getting dragged across the street to the car. Mm-hmm. But I could tell you this, bro. If I was an officer, bro, if I was a police officer, would you, or if you was a police officer, bro, would you have waited to see if he would have shot you, or would you have waited to see if he would have ran you over with the car?
If you was a police officer?
Come on, man. Let's talk. Come on, man. Let's talk sense, man. Let's talk, because you know that nigga trying to make it back to his kids too. So, would you rather him?
If I'm the police officer,
yeah, how you gonna handle it?
B.
How you
beating the nigga up?
No. If you see somebody going in their vehicle and you know what they're doing, and I'm not saying
vehicle. Before he got to the vehicle, he got beat up.
No, he got tased. So, they was trying to stop him. You see, dog? Come on,
okay. So hold on. If there's no,
we're talking about if I'm a police officer. We ain't talking about if I'm the white police officer. If Blue, how'd you get to it?
I understand that, Blue. I understand that.
But you know what? Okay, let's not be a police officer. Let's just say this: if you at the club and you have an issue,
I was just about to say this shit.
And you have an issue with somebody, and y'all having a disagreement in person, and they approach their vehicle.
Who going home? Me or you, nigga?
Well,
nah. I'm going home. I'm going to my kids, and I'm a good shot too. 75 yards with a piss.
Big fact.
I'm going home.
Big fact. But ultimately, but see, taken out of circumstances, the man didn't have no gun before he got to his car.
And he didn't have a gun at all.
But the statement from the witness, the statement from the witness was said that he told them that he had a gun in the car. He told them that. You could go look it up. That was a statement from the witness. So as an officer, I'm telling you,
a person in particular.
So
can we take that as fact?
Listen, but if you're an officer, everything in that situation, in that heated situation, everything has to be taken into consideration. And I'm going home. So at the end of the day, first of all, he ran. Then I tased you. You still ain't far. I'm trying to grab you. I'm asking you to stop. You're not complying. All he had to do was turn around and talk to the man. That's it. It wouldn't have been a shooting, bro. It wouldn't have been. And this is what I'm saying, though. These people, they take this and they blow the narrative up. And then everybody just jumps on it. And now we got situations like this bullshit we got going on right now. That's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool for our children. That's not cool for nobody else's kids. That's not cool, bro. That shit not cool.
And I agree with you. But can I ask you this? Can one man, right, one situation, change the narrative of what's really been going on?
Nah.
I mean, at this point, you're more likely to get bit by a shark than to get shot by a fucking police officer, unless the nigga just really corrupt. And I'm telling you from where I live at.
On that statement,
I'm not gonna roll with
you
that.
might be less likely. Yeah. You might be less likely to get by a shark. But let me ask you this: if you eat
I was just fucking with you.
What is more costly? What's more costly? A black man getting bit by a shark or a white man being bit by a shark?
Both of them niggas bit to me. So
we ain't in the water.
We ain't in the water.
No. But listen to me clearly now. If as Black America, if we are less of the population, what is more defined? Do you protect the endangered species or the person that's more of abundance? which causes more harm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I pretty much don't think we're endangered, but
I think that we should protect everyone equally, don't you think?
we
That's
should
how I
protect
feel about it.
everybody.
No,
I mean,
hell no.
because did you know most there's did you know there's more? Go ahead.
That statement.
Go ahead.
Because if the black plight, right? That's like saying, okay, just because you white and I'm black, right? We're both humans, for sure. But we both haven't been treated equally our entire lives when it comes to life or death. Just because we're both humans, we've been given a long shot when it comes to criminal justice, when it becomes to killing our own, when it becomes to the psychological slavery that we've been given.
Yeah.
We've been at a loss. So ultimately, if you take another black man out the community versus a white man,
so you said, because you just said, I just noticed you used the word psychological,
right?
And that's indeed, that's in everything hits everybody else psychologically different. Everybody psychologically is different. That you know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit there and say my psyche is from no slavery, because it's not. I broke out that shit. I started, I was doing it at 17, 18, educating my mama, like, no, listen, you know what I mean? So it's up to us to, you know what I mean, to stand up as men, because there's not, and I'm telling you from this, like, from what goes on here, bro, there's not a lot of motherfuckers that just get shot by the police on some corrupt shit. Like, these niggas up stick on police, straight up. They blowing at the police, bro, straight up. They blowing at them off a ticket. Just, you got a warrant for a ticket, nigga. Like, I ain't going. Just up and get that blowing. I'm telling you, and that's what we got to start to understand, and what we got to start doing is that we got to start seeing the shit that's going on in our communities and holding people accountable for what the fuck they doing. Not just say, oh, Lil Ray just got blicked by the police and it's fucked up, but Ray done killed about 4-5 niggas. It's about 2 of them in the ocean, 1 of them in the car burnt up across the alley. No, man, we got to start holding Ray and them accountable for what the fuck they doing. If you not uplifting and building the community and you ain't doing shit for the community, like last day, yeah, I used to bang like a motherfucker. But the last 3 years, bro, man, me and my mama, we get food together, we cook for Thanksgiving, and we go around and pass it out to all the dope fiends, the homeless folks, you know what I mean? And that's just a step taking forward to, you know what I mean, to bettering the psyche of me and my family and the people. Like, we can't just always just throw the ball on, and I dislike white folks that try to make motherfuckers to do that shit. Throw the ball on us, it's our fault. Listen, bro, there's many African nations, right? So let's just say Bantu went to Nigeria and was like, hey man, you know, you gotta bear that burden of what your people did to my ancestors. I'm gonna look at them up like, bro, I don't even know your ancestors. I don't even know you, my nigga. Like, I don't even know what the fuck you talking about. So it be some white folks that be like, yeah, the burden on us is our fault. Bitch, you ain't even do shit. You ain't did nothing to us. Man, that shit is crazy. I'm not about to be mad at nobody for
Nah, I'm a firm subscriber in that too, brother. I believe in you. But what and I believe, and everything you said is right and exact.
You know, I'm just saying that I'm just tired of it, bro.
You as an individual, right, as a pillar in your community, doesn't change the fact that the people that you're feeding the multitude, right? You as an individual are feeding the multitude. It doesn't mean that they're not the multitude. There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers that don't stand on the same pillars that you stand on. There's a whole bunch of people that don't subscribe to the same shit you stand on.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. We basically was just saying the same thing, because that's exactly what I was saying.
Right.
We got to hold people up to their standards, my baby, because this shit getting ridiculous, bro. And what we doing is we not making a better world. We kind of making it worse by going through these notions and like, come on, man. Like, don't you know that we got people that are touching, like, and this is what I'm gonna say this because I've been waiting to say this shit. I stand behind the statement Black Lives Matter. I don't fuck with that organization because of the simple fact that there's a lot there's a lot of hateful and spiteful shit coming out that organization, and not only that, it's the people. It's Antifa, these people, these other organizations like the feminists, the LGBTQ alphabet order, them motherfuckers, they all attaching themselves to it. When I went on the website for Black Lives Matter, it ain't say nothing about the heterosexual male, the heterosexual female. It said we stand for black queers and the transgender queer. I was like, man, what the fuck is this? I
recently checked that out too.
Am I lying? And these other people are attaching themselves to this organization and knowing people are fucked up and money hungry and getting them to do this whole shit, like going to set our communities on fire, going to throw bricks through our communities. I'm not standing behind that shit.
What? Hey, can I say this? I had a 3-hour meeting with Black Lives Matter and their organization last week to attach themselves to my organization. They wanted to help us, and they wanted to attach themselves to us, and they were seeking for the opportunity. And I asked them 3 questions. I said, in the 12 years, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I'm listening. Yes, sir.
Can y'all hear me?
I said in the 12. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Keep talking, Blue.
I hear you. I said, look, I need you to answer me 3 questions. I said, in the last 12 years, y'all operated over billions of dollars of revenue. Y'all done brought in billions of dollars of revenue. What have y'all done with it? And they said, well, we have a bunch of projects underlying, Mr. Cantu. You know what I'm saying? They said, we have all these projects. But I said, those projects ain't meant nothing to billions of dollars. Y'all talking about a class of, y'all have enough money to equal a class. Y'all have enough to operate. Y'all can create the black mecca again with billions of dollars. Y'all could own your own bank with billions of dollars. Y'all could start y'all's own educational system with billions of dollars. Excuse me, and you're not.
I'm gonna tell you why they
non-profit. So that's free money. You know what I'm saying? That's money going out. Hold on. Second question. Let me finish this and you can speak on that. Second question. I said, why? Why did y'all seem to align yourselves with the LGBTQ committee before, you know what I'm saying, or whatever alphabet they were at the time? Why did y'all align yourselves with them? And they said, well, we believe that they said, well, we believe that their plight was our plight. I said, that doesn't make any sense. And I believe that the reason why y'all did that is because y'all needed the numbers. The same as with the feminist movement, which in turn grabbed the numbers of the black women to entertain. Y'all needed numbers to push it. At the time when Obama was in administration, they were fighting for civil rights. Nigga, if you wasn't with the LGBT, nigga, that was an army. That was an army of numbers to get you wherever you needed to get to and to protest whatever you needed to protest as long as you aligned yourself with them. And I said, if y'all can't tell me that's the reason y'all did it, and he's sending me this mysticism of we believe that and this is what they told me, and this is what killed me. They said, well, all lives matter. I said, but your institution believes in Black Lives Matter.
What a contradiction.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
What the hell? I said, I thought we were talking about our plight. We're not talking about the human plight. I understand that. I understand the human plight. That's what? Brother, that didn't signify what y'all started off as. So your fundamentals of what you started off as turned in because y'all needed numbers. Y'all needed the protest. Y'all needed an army to pursue y'all's motives and y'all's propaganda to which got y'all. I said, look, I highly respect y'all and I highly believe in everything. And whoever came up with the term and the seance of Black Lives Matter was a fucking genius. And I appreciate all the awareness y'all brought and the people y'all brought to it, but your organization as a whole is corrupt because you cannot give me unfounded truth of why y'all did certain things or where this money is going and why y'all have so many, because remember, as a nonprofit organization, they have to put in a form to show where their money is going, and that's why they're getting sued by so many people because these sponsors and fundraising events ain't showing where this money is going.
Well, you can definitely you can actually go researching and see where the money is going. It's going to this place. It's called Go Blue something, and it's going right to the administration for the Democrats, the same people that's against them. That is going toward the Biden administration, all that. And what's crazy is that the finances that for Black Lives Matter is actually The person that's in charge of it was this lady was a terrorist. She was supposed to have 50 years for making bombs and trying to blow this bitch up. And Bill Clinton pardoned her after 16 years. She's in charge of all the finances for the Black Lives Matter, and she actually is a communist. So that's when we go do the research. That's why they're calling it a Marxist communist group, is because of the simple fact of who is affiliated and the things that they are teaching the members of the organization. They're teaching them hate to hate. I want to show you something. I'm gonna tell you a story. Me and my girl was sitting out here and we watched a group of white people go around taping shit to people's cars and putting it into. Can you pull that up for me? Putting it in and putting this paper in people's mailboxes. And I'm about to read you what the hell this shit say. And it's got it says Black Lives Matter, got the logo, everything. I'm about to show you I'm about to read it off to you exactly what this shit says. And we found this in the mailbox.
Shows and everything.
It says, you see right there where it got the logo, it say Black Lives Matter.
Go ahead.
You see that? It says, attention, white women and children, you are the enemy. We will not stop until there are more white homicides than black. We will not stop until all white people are sent to re-education camps. We will not stop until all white people pay extra taxes to support black individuals. That's some stupid ass shit. We will not stop until black power runs all government. We will not allow any white person to date another race. We will support no white businesses. Hate is okay if it's directed at white families. I had to take a picture of it. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And you know, the only black folks I know talk like that is black supremacists. I done been around them. You know what I mean?
Can you drop that in our group chat?
Can I?
I hope he can drop that in our group chat. But,
you just want to read it?
Yeah, I just want to review it. But
go ahead, James. I want to hear from James though. James, be quiet. I need to. I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, man. What do y'all want to know? Obviously, what I'll say on a lot of this is, I heard a few things I disagree with. Some things I agree with. It's what it is.
I like your platform you got here, Velvet Johnson, man. You got some good people on here, man. Some good people. Everybody open-minded. Everybody very respectful. James, Dr. Blue, man, y'all cool as hell.
Hey, yeah, man, you too, bro. I didn't know what to expect when he said I got a black Trump supporter. I was like, all right. But I feel it, man. And especially what's up at you at MC. I think we need to do this again and talk about hip hop too next time. But for sure,
I think I think this is more conversations that we all need to have as a whole. So I respect Velvet for like bringing us here, but this is fucking conversations that we all need to have, because when it comes down to it, when it boils down to it, really, when you sift through all the terminology and shit like that, everybody agreeing on the same shit. You know what I mean? It's just sounding different. You know what I mean? And some things like I need to be educated on some certain things. You need to be educated on certain things. At some point we can all bring something to the table. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna learn. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not against the statement. Of course, I'm black. I gotta matter. You feel me? Like, of course I agree with the motherfucker. I'd be crazy to be like, man, fuck that Black Lives Matter shit. I just don't. I don't like the organization, man.
I don't like the organization.
That ain't for me, man, because they run around this bitch and they tearing up shit. Then next thing you know, we gotta shoot our way up out this bitch, because now they want to. No, hell no, B. I mean, I'm good. I got ARs, extra mags, all type of shit, bug out bags. I ain't tripping. I got a little spot up north. I'm gonna tweak out, but.
James,
go ahead.
James
let me hear James. Yeah, I want to hear what James.
Yeah.
James, for sure. Well, the only thing I would say on it is, for me, as a perspective from a white person that has a lot of black friends and stuff, is that I have definitely noticed a difference in the way that black people are treated, particularly, by police. The only time I ever got made to get out of the car during a traffic stop was whenever I was with my boy who I never had ever been made to get out of a car before by the police. And whenever I was away from my homie, the tone totally changed. The police officer was super aggressive. He pulls me away and he's like, "Hey, what are y'all doing in this neighborhood? What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh man, I was like, I'm a rapper. He's the slam poet. We're just performing down the street." And he's like, "Hold on, you're the rapper. He's the slam poet." I go, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah. I'm a rapper. He's the slam poet. We're just performing down the street." And so anyway, that's all I'll say about it is that the organization. Obviously people say things about it. I do think that in terms of getting that message out there, just because for me, I've experienced it. I've experienced the difference in the way that the officer treats me versus treats black people I've seen, on tape or in the case whenever I was with my friend. And I just think that needs to be addressed. I think I have a buddy who from high school he's a police officer and he trains police officers. And he always asks me every couple of years, he asks me what I feel that police officers need to be taught in training. Like what's something that they need to be shown? And I always say just to show one of those YouTube videos where they contrast police officers handling of a black person versus a white person. Because some of those videos are just mind-blowingly shocking. A white person's got a gun on him, and a white person's got a gun out, and the police officers are like, "Sir, please calm down," versus the unarmed black person. And I'm like, Eric, show this to these cadets. Because to me, you couldn't show that to me, and I couldn't be like, man, there's a lot of racism in the police. Like to me, you look at the video, straight up.
This is where I'm gonna disagree. And this is why I'm gonna say this, bro. Is because I really don't. At first, I thought this was a race thing, bro. I really did. Until we came up with this idea and said, let's let police officers police their own communities. Recruit police officers from your own community to police. Not because let's say I live on 7 Mile, Detroit, Michigan. Heart of Detroit. Sure. You can't come from motherfucking Sterling Heights, where it's mostly rich white folks and black folks, to come police over here. Because then you got a mindset of classism. So let's let them police this. Until I met black officers that was from this bitch being racist toward their own people.
Sure, being really aggressive for sure.
Now you got a thing to where it's not really racism. It's a brotherhood. It's a gang like any other gang.
I completely agree with that. 10,000%.
Right.
Yeah, it's a fucking gang. They got one in California. I'm talking about they got tattoos and everything. They under investigation.
In Texas, it's the same thing. And until you have, look, there's one thing I gotta tell you. The only thing that history hasn't repeated is that when the Black Panther Party was conducted, it was the people policing the police. Until we have people that can pull up and they see something happening, and they're like, look, if we see anything wrong, just arrest the brother. Just arrest the white brother. Just arrest the black brother. But if we see anything wrong, we will pop your ass. You have a right to bear arms. We have a right to bear arms. You have a gun. We have a gun. We just here to make sure everything go right. And it's you.
Man, look, I ain't even got a record at all. And and the thing about it, the way it is, I feel the same, just like I do. Like, I'd have been slammed to the car. I've been grabbed, head butted, and all this other shit. And it's the same. I be driving down the street. Insurance, everything's good, everything's fine, but I'm worried just the same. Just like I got some shit. I'm like, oh shit, and it should not be there. Like,
yeah, and as a white person, I don't feel that at all. Like it never. Like I said, the only time I ever got made in the car,
and that could be like your demographic, because like the white boys around this bitch, they be feeling fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? But it's a difference, bro. If you a white person born, like raised in the hood, they on your ass. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not saying like I ain't never, like, okay, so one time I was with this little thought ass white girl. You feel me? We riding up, we driving through Sterling Heights. The motherfucking Sterling Heights, like the suburbs, bro. Like,
okay, I was
that's the suburbs. We on like 14 and Van Dyke and shit. You know what I mean? Most motherfuckers won't even. I'm a different nigga though. I'm going past 8 Mile. Fuck what you talking about. So the police officer hit the lights. Boop. You know what I'm saying? This was like probably like what, 2 years ago? Yeah, like 2 years ago. Police hit the lights. Now, mind you, I ain't driving, but I know my shit, so we good. You feel me? So she driving. This bitch ass nigga walk over to my side. You feel me? Like he like let me get y'all IDs and driver's licenses. I look straight ahead like this. I'm drunk as hell, but I look straight ahead like this. So dog, like she gave her hers, and then he like, can I get your ID? I said no. I said, what for? He said, so I can have your ID? I said, no, the infraction on the driver. Am I an investigation? What you need from me? Is there a crime committed or something? He like, you right, I don't need your ID. All right, bet. And I said, bet. She ran it. We took off, bro. You know about the,
but
because they be hunting for warrants.
Every black man though.
When you know you're right.
They be hunting. Listen, they be hunting for warrants, bro. They be hunting for warrants. And even though I had 2 of them bitches, you ain't getting my ID. Fuck that. I ain't going to jail,
Look,
B.
I need to ask you.
And that's, I guess it goes without saying I got you. And I guess it goes without saying that's never happened to me as a white person. You know, I've been pulled over and the officer never even looks at me if I'm in the passenger.
Ask you if you want some of that donut.
Yeah, as I'm doing all right. Actually, I always try to. My big thing, because of the situation, is I'm always trying to figure out a way to talk the officer out of giving us the ticket. So I'm always trying to make the officer laugh, so that way they won't.
So I'm not saying there's no racists in the department, but you know when it come down to it though, if they'll knock their racism away for their brother in arms, for their brother in blue.
Yeah,
they'll knock that away. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this. This episode that we're doing right now, this is one of them instances of what I'm saying. If somebody take a 30-second clip of this, especially you, Oddball, and they only get 30 seconds out of it,
that made me look like Candace Owens.
Yeah, and it may be, once again, if you listen to the full thing, because everything you're saying, at some point you do bring it to a point where like, okay, I see what he's saying, or there's some level that I can agree with something. What it ain't where you're just like, this guy I don't agree with nothing that's coming out of his mouth. But once
hey, he trying to get in the Trump administration.
Yeah, if we take 30 seconds, it's gonna be that. But I do have to do this because one, we're finna wrap up the episode, and two, we know you do music, and we got to switch it up real quick. Do you have anything you're promoting? Any albums? Any where can they find you?
Yeah, I have right now. I have Solid World. That's my album I just dropped earlier this year. It's out right now. It's actually doing really well on the streaming sites. It's probably at 100,000 on Spotify. It's about the same on Apple Music. Tidal is actually doing way better for some reason. But I do have an EP that's dropping this week, or is it next week? Is it this week? The 6th. I got an EP that's dropping the 6th called No Feelings Included, and then November 3rd I have an album called This Is Oddball coming. It's gonna be everywhere: iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, wherever. You can also follow me on Instagram at This Is Oddball. It's the same on Twitter. Don't follow me on Facebook because I say offensive things. You can also check me out on YouTube. My YouTube page is Oddball. I have all my music videos on there and everything. That's it. I appreciate it.
You know what? I gotta give him some quick credit too, because somebody else brought Oddball to my attention, and I was like, cool, let me check him out. Then after I invited him to the show, it turns out we friends on Facebook already.
Yeah. I wonder who brought you. I want to know who was that.
My girlfriend was showing me one of your music videos, and she was telling me that one of her relatives was a fan and basically had been reposting some of your videos and stuff. So I thought I had just found you on IG, so then I followed you. But then once we started talking, and I said, hey, go add me on Facebook, I saw we was friends already, and then I was like, okay, so he must be kind of out there, because that means before me hearing of you, I must have ran into you anyway on my own too.
You know, I ran into a guy like that in Iowa. He added me on Facebook, and he was like, before I even knew who you was, I knew about your music. I didn't even know what you looked like. I was just listening to your shit. But he ended up finding me on Facebook because, every time I try to use my pseudonym on Facebook, somebody reports me. I can't wait to find the fuck nigga who doing it. But every time I start a Facebook and I try to use my pseudonym, they be like, "Oh, his name's not." No, they try to they make me change my name to my real name. Somebody reported me saying his name ain't Eyeball, it's Jovan. Like, bitch, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Which kind of time you want?
We gotta get you a hacker, brother. We gotta get you a hacker. We'll find out.
There you go.
Type in with me. We'll find out.
I appreciate all y'all, bro, because you know, at first the way Velvet was putting it, he was like, "Yeah, we know you, you that way." I'm like, okay, this an ambush, ain't it?
That's a good.
But
no,
no,
and I thought I was just gonna do jokes. I made notes of my jokes I was gonna do. I thought I was just gonna do jokes. Damn it, I didn't get to do any of my jokes. So as long as we're getting to promote ourselves, shout out. Please, everyone out there, follow me at Space Rhyme on Instagram. Me and my bros, the guys I do music and do comedy and shit like that with. We're always posting stuff. Got some new music dropping soon. I got some live performances that we did before quarantine started that we're finishing editing up. We've kind of just been lazy because of quarantine. Then we got a couple of other like comedy videos and music videos and things like that we'll be putting out. So
I could be laying around in my drawers, but I'm trying to stay consistent.
I also want to say, I also want to thank Dr. Blue too, bro, because most brothers that with that strong aura to themselves, that what I mean, that feel a certain type of way, like he ain't bash me, he ain't, what I mean?
He didn't come at you, for sure.
Yeah, he ain't scream at me, what I mean? He actually listened and was like, oh, you right, you know what I'm saying? And that's all passion. That's the whole thing of us growing as, what I mean, as humans, man, as people, bro. So big up to you, Dr. Blue. I appreciate that shit, bro.
I appreciate it too, brother. I enjoy talking to you.
You got anything else you promoting, Dr. Blue?
Oh, yeah, man. Shout out to Enoch Says. Enoch Says is a 501c3 in the criminal justice sector. Hoping we tag team with hashtag Cut 50. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to cut the 50% of the prison population. We're trying to get these brothers, mothers, sisters, daughters back out to their families. We're trying to educate them. We do mentorship work. If you want to be a mentor and you want to enlighten some of these brothers that's locked up, we also help them get their college degrees, GEDs, and any other type of skills that they can read to become effective members of society. So if y'all down with it, get down with me. Reach out to me.
Inshallah. Hey, I mess with that right there for real.
Yeah, definitely support that for sure.
Indeed. I mess with that. Well, hey man, I need to come back on, Velvet Johnson, man. I need to come back on. I like this right here.
You know what? This ain't the reason I knew this wasn't gonna be your last time on, because we was having a good conversation off the set before it was even recorded. And I was kind of liking that conversation before I knew the conversation where we was going. I was like, man, I want to talk more about that. So we can't end it here. We gonna end this episode, but it won't be the last time we have you on.
So is your podcast on Apple Music and shit?
Yeah, we on Apple Music, we on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good jazz.
Okay, bet, because I wanna promote it for you. You know what I'm saying? I want to promote your platform, bro. It was it's definitely, you know what I mean. It's not only good vibes, but it's educational, bro. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
It could be educational and it's good conversation. You gotta have James on when I come back on.
Oh yeah,
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I feel like he ain't get to open up as much. I think that nigga funny as hell. He's probably funny.
Yeah. I came with this a whole different angle, man. I was already to do that shit, but it's all good.
No, you know what? But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up like we always say. Smile, but don't let the world see, because they might try to crush your little dreams. Throw your middle finger up. You know how we do. We walking in slow motion out, and we sipping on lovely potion. Y'all have yourself a blessed little afternoon.
Peace.
You fucked up.